The fitness industry is eating itself alive. Every second video is another fitfluencer claiming that everyone else is lying to you and preying on you like there's some evil conspiracy to keep you confused, which just makes things more confusing, and it always ends the same way. They're selling you their solution to the problem. If you've ever felt like you're doing everything that you get told to do but you're not getting anywhere, this is why. And the reality is, it's gonna keep happening because complexity is profitable. It just also means that you're not getting any closer to finding out how easy getting lean actually is. I personally spent years lost in that maze. I followed every trend. I tried every diet to try and get lean, and nothing ever really made sense. But with enough time and also putting some blinkers on, I figured out the actual essentials to get myself from almost obese to living in my dream body for 10 plus years now. This video is here to show you the low fuss way to get lean without all of the confusion and give you an easy 3-step system for making it happen. We're about to cover what may be the biggest reason that achievers don't get lean easily. We're gonna go through the Tetris method for making your diet next to bulletproof. I'm gonna show you a simple engineering trick that takes willpower completely out of the equation when it comes to getting lean. And then I'll show you the feedback loop that actually makes this thing work faster and better every time you make a mistake. This is a self-regulating system. If you put to work what I'm about to show you like you paid to learn it, you will finally be able to stay away from this social media cesspool and stop listening to all these fitfluencers telling you that you're doomed. Let's get into it. We're starting with the first link in this chain. It is called the Modular Brick Diet, or the Brick Diet for short. If you want to make getting lean easy, this is the simplest real-life way to do it because it solves what's possibly the biggest problem that busy achievers have. I call it diet fragility. See, these days, nobody's stuck with fat loss because they don't know what a calorie deficit is. And people like you and me don't lack the drive to do the work. The real issue is real life hitting and then your diet falling apart. If your diet works when you've meal prepped perfectly and when life stays predictable and when work never gets busy and cravings never hit, then great. But it also means the moment that life does happen, you're screwed and the plan goes bust. Your diet in that circumstance is too fragile, and building yourself a brick diet is the solution. Instead of having a diet plan that says you need to eat this exact meal at this exact time, you build the diet out of interchangeable parts. The whole thing is built of these modular bricks that you can swap in and out and keep making progress instead of the whole thing collapsing the moment you can't follow the plan perfectly. Instead, you just substitute and you keep moving. Now, the bricks themselves are simple. It's just a repeatable portion of food with a matching energy footprint. You want it to play the same role and have roughly the same amount of calories, and that way we can just sub and swap whenever we need to. Think a 200 gram piece of chicken is the same size brick as a 200 gram piece of lean steak. You can have a 200 gram potato, or you can swap it for a big hunk of sourdough or 700 grams of pumpkin if that's your deal. You can even make bricks out of entire meals, and then if you're really stuck, you can have good fast food options that you know can sub straight in for your usual brick meal. And if you do things this way, fat loss becomes as simple as playing a game of Tetris. Now the game is not perfect meal plan or I'm completely off plan. It is simply which bricks fit the gaps that I need to today. What can I substitute in to replace the thing that I can't get my hands on? So when you first start using this system, the goal for us is not, holy shit, that tastes so good. It is this low fuss? Is this repeatable and doesn't work? Because once we've got that down, then we can layer delicious on top after we get all of our bricks to fit. Now, this might seem like a new concept, so the important thing to understand is this. You don't need to get it perfect to start. You just need a rough baseline. And once I show you the third link in this process, you will see why. For now, it is as easy as looking at what you're already eating to get lean. You go through the thing, circle the staples that you eat, and spend literally 5 minutes figuring out 2 to 3 swaps for each of the bricks that make up your meals. That way, whenever your usual option isn't available, you don't go off the rails, you just sub in a replacement and you are back on track. But once you got bricks, we have solved the diet fragility problem. Eating to get lean becomes incredibly simple. So now the question is, how do we make sure that you execute? And that is what we're doing with the second link in this chain. We're gonna build you an autopilot. So the brick diet makes things simple, but we have to remember that we're human. And almost all people still end up fighting uphill when they diet for one way too obvious reason. They rely on willpower. The reality is that anybody can white knuckle a fat loss diet for a week or two. You probably can more than most people. But if your execution relies on you just death gripping the controls forever, eventually you're gonna slip and crash. But you don't come with autopilot, and it doesn't matter how fancy or how simple your diet is. If you don't use the thing, it's not gonna help you. So step number 2 is simple. We can't build you an autopilot from the inside out, but we can build you one from the outside in. And the way we do that is we engineer your environment. If you're an achiever, then no doubt you love being efficient. You love being able to just go full steam ahead with things. And having an environment that streamlines is a huge help for things like business. But usually the most streamlined food options, they're convenient and they channel you away from getting lean. That is the wrong kind of streamlined. We don't want that. You think fast foods and packaged snacks and Uber Eats. These things are all convenient and they're all really hurting your chances of getting leaner. But what if we stole that principle, the thing that makes them a go-to, and instead used it to streamline things that help you? Think about bowling alley bumpers, right? If you have guardrails up, it is basically impossible for you to throw a gutter ball. If you want to make getting lean simple, all we really need to do is install guardrails that make it nearly impossible for you to miss. And how to do it is simple. In a sentence, you want high friction for bad and you want low friction for good. That is it. If you want ice cream, you should have to leave the house to get it if it's not a part of your plan. And conversely, your brick diet meals should always be on deck, at home or at the office, visible, eye level, ready in minutes, and ideally they should be even easier to get in front of you than fast food is. Your goal is to make willpower the smallest part of the equation and actually engineer and build for it. So you think, how would your house and your office and your cupboard need to look if it was going to make it easy for you to nail your plan? Problem foods, for example, don't live in your house or they're single serving. We're talking the freezer has backup brick meals to make sure that you never run out. You have snacks planned to bridge the gap between I'm hungry and oops, I just put something stupid in my mouth. When the right action is the easiest action, you streamline getting lean. But if you rely on willpower to cover every gap, you are going to need your hands on the controls forever. And we already know eventually we're going to slip. If you engineer the environment, then you've built your personal autopilot. All right, the final and the most powerful link in the chain. At this point, you've got 2 things. You've got a robust plan that doesn't break when life happens, and you've got an environment that makes it easy for you to follow that plan. Now is where we make sure that that plan works and that you're not guessing your way to getting lean. This is what connects the entire chain and also what Bulletproof said. What we're doing in step 3 is setting up a feedback loop. Most people think that dieting is all about discipline. Now, I don't disagree at all that discipline is a part of it. I'm not anti-discipline, but what I am is very anti being disciplined about the wrong thing. Hard work is fine, but the order is always smart work first and then hard work goes on top. That being the philosophy, the simple reframe is this: mission over method. Let me explain. You can't tell because I film inside my office, but I live in the Australian outback. It's hot. So I set my aircon inside to 22 degrees, and when the house heats up, my aircon pumps cold air. When the temperature drops, it eases off a little bit. But what my aircon does not do is blindly keep blasting me with cold air 24/7, staying disciplined with no actual regard for what the temperature is in the room. Because the mission that I gave it was keep my house at 22 degrees, not pump cold air non-stop for as long as you can. That is just one method for one situation. So the same thing here for us. The mission is getting lean. The method is whatever tool, whatever diet we're using to make it happen. So it's all good if you've got your brick diet set up and you're slick following it because your environment has you on autopilot. But we're not doing this thing just because we want to follow a plan. We have a mission. We're trying to get you lean. So here's what we do in real life to make sure that we are always on track with the mission and sticking with that philosophy. You don't judge success by did I follow my brick diet perfectly? Instead, you judge it by, did the mission happen? Every week you're checking two things. Number one, did my scale average or my waistline average track downward the way I wanted it to? And two, did my environment help me follow the plan to make it happen? And then you just decide. If yes, then you don't get fancy and you just run it again. If your weight didn't move or your waistline was static, then you remove one of your bricks or you boost your activity a little bit. And if it's dropping too fast or you just feel trash and tired, then you add a brick or you pull back on your activity. That's it. You move like a thermostat. You commit yourself to the mission and you stay flexible with the method you're following to make it happen. And this is why the links matter, why we set up the way we did, and how this system works together. In link 1, you built a modular diet, so your adjustments are always simple and easy to manage. And in link 2, you built an environment where you could stick with those adjustments so that when we hit feedback in step 3, all the information that we're working with is real and reliable. It means that making mistakes doesn't break this thing, and in fact, it just makes the whole system better and more refined and more tailored to you. If you mess up, it's just feedback for the system and you already have the tools that you need to use it and to execute on it. This is the difference between people who diet in bursts and restart on repeat and then have to watch more YouTube videos to tell them how to do things, and between people who build a simple system and know how to course correct and get lean without all of the fuss and confusion. All you need to do is get started with a brick diet, build an imperfect one, and run your first round of the system. You get started with that and getting lean will be simple. But if you want to know the biggest mistakes you could possibly make that'll guaranteed screw you up, watch this video next. If you've got a simple plan and you know how to duck these, it'll make getting lean so easy and simple that it is almost unfair.